Hey everybody, it's Patty Dobrovolsky with Up Your Creative Genius, and Creative Genius U, the equation that makes you great. Okay, for the next few weeks we're going to be focusing on outcome to the infinite power, and this is the internal multiplier that you get when you apply the creative genius equation to anything you're working on. So that multiplier is only inhibited by you. Just know that. It's not inhibited by any of these external forces. It all comes down to you and how well you're pressing on the different levers and what resistance you might have. For example, one time I worked with a guy who wanted to be a CEO. That his former CEO was retiring and he knew he was a shoo-in for it, so he wanted me to do a mapping session for him so he'd know what to expect and get ready for that new role. So I go in, I do the mapping session with him, and all the time he's talking about his current reality. He's talking about how sick he got working there in all those years and how, he's still dealing with some of that and clearing it out of his system. And then he's envisioning the future, but he's just talking about like the freedom that it will give him once he's gone and the freedom of all of the experiences that he's going to have after he's there, after he solidifies it and sets that thing on its track. And I kept thinking to myself, this is interesting. I kind of want to see how this plays out. So session's over, send him off with his map. 2 months later, I give him a call. I say, hey, how's it going? He says, guess what? They brought in some weird headhunter that was just creepy and kind of undermined everybody. And guess what? I didn't get that job. So, but I'm going to stay for a while anyway, just to get the new CEO set up. And I'm thinking, that's interesting because that's what showed up in that map. And I said, did you notice that there was so much freedom in the right side and that you were feeling great? Your health was awesome and all of these things. And I said, so how did you use the map? How have you been using it? He said, I actually put it away as soon as that we finished that session because I knew that it was for a later time, not now. And I thought, okay, wow. And this is what we do. We create this desirable future. We get ourselves all amped up about it. And then if we are at all resistant to it or afraid or feel like the timing's not right or whatever, or have a number of things that are in the way, like your kids are going to college and you got to pay for them or any kind of story, you put that dream, that map away, and then you think it's all said and done. But no, what's in fact happened is your RAS has gotten activated. Your reticular activating system is going full bore. It's pulling up all the ways that you can change and all the new ways that you're going to be different. And so that old you, that part of you that is playing that old record, that's over. You're already stepped into this new thing. And if that's out of alignment, often you lose your job. And so just know that you can put it out there, but be prepared for the change because it will come. And that's the glory of doing a visual process like that, is that it's going to activate you. And that's what we need because we know when we're stuck and we know when we're ready for something else to happen. And so that activation is exactly the right thing. Okay. So there's a couple of things that you can do to help yourself stay in alignment. One is continue to ask questions about what it is that you want to get more clarity. Clarity is important when you're focusing so that your imagination focuses on the right things. Because remember about your brain, it's 33% on autopilot and it's 66% programmable. So you want to give it good stuff to be feeding in there. Because if you can imagine it like a stage crew and that you're the actor on that stage crew, when you are not giving it stuff to work on, positive things to work on, to develop, to brainstorm, to come and solve for you, what it will do is it'll take a smoke break. It'll go out on the deck and smoke cigarettes. And then while it's out there, those guys and gals, they'll just sift through your hippocampus and they'll pull out old slides of the past, maybe limiting beliefs or experiences you don't want to remember anymore. And you'll start to feel yourself internally go down the slippery slope. And mainly that's because you are not changing at the pace that you are ready to change. You're meant for change. You're meant to be your best self and to serve at the highest level. So remember that. And so your mission this week is to give that imagination team a job. And so here's how you might think about doing it. you can look at something that you want to change, you know, in your work habits or your health or your exercise or your, you know, relationship. Look at something you want to change and then draw a picture of it, some kind of picture, you know, just write it down, put a picture around it, and then serve it up to your imagination team because they're just waiting to reroute the neural pathway. We're ready with this idea. It's going to give you a whole bunch of different ideas, and your job is to write them down. So when you wake up in the morning, before you get into your phone, start to write down the ideas that you have about this change. And if you want more ideas, just ask. Ask your creative genius to drop some things in, and you will not believe all the changes that will happen. I can't wait to see what happens this week. Get going on your mission. I know you can do this. Until next time, up your creative genius.